Hi guys, this is Vidas.
And Ausra.
Let's start episode 245 of Ask Vidas and Ausra podcast. This question was sent by William, and he writes, do you have any advice for organists who have never played hymn melody in feet or in tenor range? I have been trying all week to do this on hymn Amazing Grace. I am having a hard time. Is it a waste to learn this process? I'm trying to begin to improvise, and so much I read say to do this and then practice in different keys. It is really hard for me. Is this a God-given talent or something that I can learn by practice? Someone told me today if I cannot do it, it is you cannot learn. Whenever I read to transpose everything to C major, and then you can eventually play by ear instead of thinking about intervals. Do you have as part of your course a step-by-step way to learn to improvise? I just want so bad to learn improvisation. Is ear training the basic problem? Thanks. William. Where to start, Ausra?
Well, that's a very broad question, actually. William brought up many problems that, many organists encounters.
So let's unpack this a little bit from the beginning. He wants to play hymn melody in the tenor range with his feet on the hymn Amazing Grace, right?
Yes.
And he's having a hard time. Obviously, this is not a simple solution, right? Because most of the time people are playing bass line in the pedals.
True.
Especially in hymn playing. But then if you want to play a melody with your feet, but a little bit higher, not in the bass range, you have to get used to it, right? How long would it take, I think, in your opinion, Ausra, with everyday practice for William?
I think it depends, on individual abilities, so it's very hard to prognose how fast he would advance, but definitely he could do it if he would work regularly on it.
Is it a waste of time or no?
No, it's not a waste of time, but, in terms of starting to improvise on the organ, if you don't have particularly good advanced pedal technique, I don't think it's a good solution to start to improvise from things what William is doing, like playing, the melody in the pedal of, Amazing Grace. It's not such an easy tune to play in the pedal.
No, not easy.
So, and if he is just a beginner improviser, I don't think that this is the, right way or the easiest way to start to improvise. Because, let's say, for starters, I would definitely improvise something on manuals only, and if he wants to include pedals only need to support, harmony at first, but not to play a solo part. What do you think about it?
Well, there are many approaches to start. Some of the easiest ways to get used to the pedal board and to keyboards. I think it's good to choose just 4 pitches. Any random pitches that you like. It could be adjacent pitches like C, D, E, F, or really random pitches like D, F sharp, B, and G sharp. It doesn't matter which 4 you choose, but if you use them explicitly in your improvisation, they will sound nice. It's like one mode, one color in paintings.
Yes, so improvisation on these 4 pitch-based, melodies could work well, nice for many things, for offering, for example, for communion, a church service. But what if you need to improvise on particular hymn, for example, Amazing Grace? What would you suggest for a beginner?
Then if you really badly want to play the hymn melody with the pedals, then do it just like normal organ composition. Play it voice by voice. Pedal solo would be Amazing Grace melody with your feet alone without any accompaniment first, right? And then even you can play the melody in three parts, in soprano, in tenor, and in the pedal. It would be steps 1, 2, and 3 without accompaniment, without any additional voices. Just one voice texture, solo melody. Once you get used to this, yes, you could improvise, maybe transpose first, not improvise, transpose it to other keys to really get the hang of it, and then add a second voice, like if you play with the soprano, add a bass. If you play with the bass, add soprano. What do you think?
Yes, I think that's an excellent, suggestion. Do you think is it necessary in your improvisation, since it's improvisation, not a hymn accompaniment? Would you necessarily use entire melody, or you could just extract some specific motive or some motives from the hymn tune?
Obviously, you could choose just fragments of the hymns. That would be even more creative, I think.
Do you think people would still recognize the tune that you are improvising on?
If you use it often in various voices, I would recognize it. I don't know about people. I'm not an ordinary listener, but it's not important if as much as they understand it or recognize it. It's important that they enjoy it, right?
True.
For people. So I have this course, him playing improvisation level 1, or organ hymn improvisation level 1, where I improvise a second voice in addition to the chorale melody in the right hand or in the left hand, and then I switch, and I first do it note by note. Basically, for one note of the melody, you supply one note of the accompaniment, and then the second step would be 2 notes against one, and then 3 notes against one, like triplets, then 4 notes against one, like 16 notes. And gradually it becomes faster and faster, and you can really create entire cycle of variations on any hymn tune based on this course.
Very interesting. Now, what about the second half of the question? As I understand, William is wondering either you need to know theory well enough, or you can play by ear. If I understood it correctly. What do you think about it? How much improvisations need to be based on the theoretical knowledge?
It's really hard to say for me, because all my life I was involved in theory in one way or another.
But do you think it helps, or it slows you down?
Theory?
Yes, knowing theory.
I would say it helps. It helps a lot. Like when I improvise, I always think about key signatures, about modes, and that wouldn't be possible if I didn't know the theory behind those modes. I would probably play by ear, but then I would create some unnecessary dissonances and basically wouldn't understand what I'm playing, and would only play nicely by accident. I could not repeat it. I could not even teach it to somebody else.
And I know that you have a perfect pitch. Does it help for you to improvise? Is it necessarily, to have a perfect pitch, to be able to improvise?
No, because you still are looking at the fingers and manuals and pedals when you're improvising. You're seeing what you're playing. I think it's okay, but if I didn't have this perfect pitch, Who knows? Hypothetically, maybe it would slow me down.
But it's possible to learn to improvise, what do you think? Without having a perfect pitch.
Obviously, yes. You just have to think about what exactly you would like to play with your mind, theoretically. Mind goes first and then fingers follow, not the other way around. Although there are some improvisers who would disagree. You could, close your eyes and play whatever comes out of your fingers.
Interesting.
What do you think?
Well, hard to say. I think that improvisation is sort of a combination of all these things. Your ear, your theoretical knowledge, your technical skills, and of all those things, and of course of your personal taste.
If you think too much, then it might become too predictable and too boring. You have to leave some space for surprises.
Don't you think that sometimes, improvisers who improvise in historical styles sort of limit their imagination? Or not?
It's a complicated question because what they do usually they adjust to the instruments. The reason why they do it in historical styles is because they love historical instruments, and to play a modern imaginative improvisation on a historical instrument, it's much more difficult than just to copy somebody else's style from the past. And these people, of course, fall in love with early music and want to recreate them, sort of reimagine them in real life. Imagine what Svelling would do today, Imagine what Krebs would do today, or Couperin, or Bach. So I think instruments dictate the style for them, and when they switch instruments, they could switch styles too. So it's really a fascinating subject. You should really try yourself, even if you have a modern instrument. It doesn't matter. Just play something interesting for starters on 4 notes or on Amazing Grace hymn tune. Thank you guys. This was Vidas.
And Husha.
Please send us more of your questions. We love helping you grow. And remember, when you practice,
Miracles happen.